Welcome to CMO School. I'm so excited to have Mandy McEwen with us today, founder of Mod Girl Marketing and Luminetics. Mandy has over 17 years of digital marketing experience. She's named top business-to-business marketer by LinkedIn and Digital Marketer. She's a sought-after speaker, trainer, and content creator, and her work has been featured in Forbes, Huffington Post, and more. Mandy helps brands and their leaders grow their business through smart, strategic LinkedIn presence. So in today's episode, we're going to be breaking down how to optimize your LinkedIn profile to position yourself as a premium, in-demand fractional CMO or strategic leader, how to show up consistently with content that builds authority, trust, and demand, and how to turn engagement into real conversations and turn conversations into paying clients. We'll also be covering how to use LinkedIn as your #1 sales channel to consistently fill your pipeline for qualified, ready-to-buy leads. If you've been passively posting or not even using LinkedIn, this episode is going to show you how to start using it as a true lead generation engine. So Mandy, welcome. I'm so excited you're here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jess. Excited as well.
And you're joining us from Hawaii, right?
I am. Aloha.
It's amazing. It's rainy here, so I wish I was in Hawaii.
It actually is raining here today.
Doesn't make me feel so.
Yeah, it's the rainy season.
Okay, so I would love to chat about your experience. You've carved out a really strong niche around LinkedIn, but let's go back a little bit. I want to know, what was your path to getting here and how did LinkedIn become the platform?
Girl, that is a loaded question. Considering I've been an online marketer since 2007, dating myself. The path was not a normal one, but I feel like most entrepreneurs can say the same thing. It's not like I set out to say, one day I'm going to be an online marketing entrepreneur, right? That was never part of the path. I started in Kansas City, which is where I went after I graduated. And then I fell in love with online marketing. So the really short story of how I fell into LinkedIn, fell in love with online marketing, started it as an affiliate marketer back in the day, taught myself HTML before I knew WordPress even existed. That was a really tragic moment when I discovered it. Like, what, this whole time? Taught myself SEO, was an SEO blogger for a while, right? Made money with affiliate commissions. I was still a normal job as a salesperson. So after I graduated, I went into sales, did marketing on the side, started realizing I was obsessed with online marketing, in particular SEO blogging and WordPress design once I discovered it. And then I was selling home improvement in Kansas City. And I thought to myself, I'm just going to start asking people if they need help on the side, without getting in trouble from my boss. I did that and people were like, yeah, my SEO guy is terrible. He's ripping me off, blah, blah, blah. And I think I have a niche here because I wasn't making enough money to quit my job at the time. But I loved it. I was obsessed, like doing it like every chance I could when I wasn't working a normal job. So I started emailing people too in Kansas City, like chiropractors, roofers, other people. And I was like, hey, you're on page 3 in Google. I can get you on page 1 for free. And when I get you in the top 3 results, just pay me $500. Work. And you have to remember, this was 2010. Well, this also was a different time back then. So Instagram wasn't even a thing. And Kansas City is an amazing community, very nice people that tell other people when they have awesome people that do work for them. So it was just word of mouth. And then one guy was like, hey, I need a website. Oh, by the way, I have a roofing company and I have a recording studio. Do you want to do them too? And I was like, yes. And then it just snowballed. And I was like, I think I have a business here. And that's how I started Mod Girl. Fast forward, we did a lot of stuff for local business. Then I started getting global recognition. I built a social following and built a pretty big Twitter following. And then I started blogging and leaning into social media more, again, before Instagram even existed. And I started getting global recognition. So then I started working with other agencies as a white label provider. And that's what got me into LinkedIn. For many years, I was #1 for white label online marketing. So I would have these big agencies. Yeah, because I'm a huge SEO nerd. Actually, I'm getting back into SEO because I'm getting leads now from SEO and AI now. So I started getting leads from big agencies for white label stuff. And they wanted to hire me as the SEO behind the scenes. So their clients didn't know I existed. Some of them were B2B clients. And I was like, why am I just doing Kansas City businesses when I have the skill set to go global here? If these big agencies are hiring me to do their clients' SEO, I'm going to just do this myself. So that's when I kind of fell into LinkedIn. And I was like, LinkedIn is B2B. And this was before LinkedIn was even like cool. Everyone was just using it as a job site, right? Fast forward till 2015 is when I started using it a little bit more. 16 started using it a little bit more just to reach out to people. And my response rates were insane. In 2017, I started telling people about it. And I was getting all of these warm opportunities from LinkedIn. It's really easy. I'm just taking my blogs and reposting them. My content was shite, but it didn't matter because no one was doing anything with LinkedIn back then. So I started telling other consultants and agencies about it because, again, I was a white label provider. So I would get people from all over, whether it's a startup agency or a big agency that I would talk to on
Yeah.
a daily basis. And I would be telling them these things for free, just telling them exactly what I'm doing. They would go and do it and they'd be like, Mandy, you're onto something. I just landed 10 appointments this week from LinkedIn. And I'm like, holy shit, really? Like, you need a course on this. And I'm like, okay, typical ADHD entrepreneur. Well, I made a course in 2017, LinkedIn. And back then, a lot of it was automation too, like the Duck Soup Chrome extension. I know there's tons of automation now that's
Yeah.
way more sophisticated, but it was very much not the right way. Some of it was, some of it wasn't. It was the
Yeah.
right way, but it was cheating with automation back then. Not now. Don't do that now. But that's what put me into this. And
Love
then we
it.
were still doing agency work. COVID hit, we had a lot of plastic surgery clients, random, I know, on the Mongrel marketing side. And we lost them because they couldn't perform surgeries. And we also were doing B2B stuff. We were kind of all over the place. And I was like, we need to hone in on B2B. COVID hit and the B2B companies, they're still working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, let's go all in on LinkedIn. And that's when I started a new brand, Luminetics, in 2021 for the LinkedIn stuff. So we've been doing it this whole time, but then I really doubled down. I kind of decided I want to do that. And then COVID hit and I was like, yeah, I need to do it. So I created a new brand, not to confuse people with what we did at ModGirl, which is mostly digital marketing for lots of different companies, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like of how I got into LinkedIn. And now I love it so much. And so now I focus my days on primarily training teams, whether it's
Yeah.
marketing teams, sales teams, how they can work together. Obviously, marketing and sales teams are doing a better job at working together too, on how they can capitalize on this platform. And it's changing so fast, so much,
Yeah.
but it's still an amazing opportunity for people to jump on right now.
I feel like all of us as entrepreneurs have a story like that, a long winding. I don't really know how I got here,
Yeah.
but through a series of
Somehow.
random events. I love that. I think that's really relatable. And I also think it's really cool how long you've been in the LinkedIn space because as a marketer, I'm always kind of watching what channels are up and coming, what's kind of fading out. I feel like it's been really interesting to see LinkedIn kind of have a resurgence over the last few years. And I see lots of quote unquote LinkedIn experts or courses or things like that. And I don't think that was the case even 2-3 years ago. So I
Right.
think it's really cool how long you've been in the space and you probably have this deep expertise and have seen it kind of grow and evolve and change, which I think is unique to you. There's a lot of people that I think are new to it and trying to teach it, but they're still new.
Absolutely.
So I think most people in the marketing space, particularly the marketers I talk to, see LinkedIn as a place to just sort of post and they're not really sure who's on there, is their client on there, or sometimes they're actually not really using it. So what do you think is the biggest opportunity there for marketers or fractional CMOs?
The biggest thing is finding your people first that you're trying to reach out to, right? And that's why I'm a big fan of Sales Navigator, but you can do this in the free version of LinkedIn. You need to make sure that the right people are in your audience and that you're reaching out to them consistently, right? So to your point of, are my people there? Well, go find them and see how they are. And that's with Sales Nav, you can literally see who's active, who's posted in the last 30 days. But the key is to make sure that your target audience is there. And if you're B2B, most of the time they're there. It's just a matter of finding them once they're active, because what I don't like happening is when people waste time going after people on LinkedIn that haven't logged in 90 days.
Okay.
So
I love that.
there's a big part of LinkedIn. It's content is just really a small part. You have to be doing the work, reaching out to people, sending connection requests, sending DMs, leaving comments. If you're not doing those things, and don't even worry about posting because it's not going to work.
Can we talk about the reach and connections a little bit more? Because I think that everyone who has LinkedIn has probably been on the receiving end of some of that. I find a large majority of that to feel a little bit inauthentic or even spammy sometimes. And I'm so curious to know, how do you do it in a way that feels authentic? And do you have any sort of tricks you've learned along the way to make it feel, more human or more like it's you on the other end instead of slimy sales outreach?
Absolutely. That's why people hire me, because I am anti-slimy salesman. Okay, couple things. One, try to find people that are active. Like I said, it's really easy for me to be like, hey, Jess, I really loved your post yesterday on X, Y, and Z. And the point you said about ABC, would be happy to connect with a fellow marketer. Or, hey, Jess, I saw your comment yesterday on Susie Smith's post about ABC, but you can't just say that. You have to elaborate a little bit more, because AI is now doing that automatically for people. So you have to sound like a human, okay? Because there's bots that can still do that. Elaborate a little bit more. But even if they're not posting content, is there something on their profile that made you laugh, or that stood out, or that's unique? Or maybe you have something in common. Maybe you went to the same university. Maybe you lived in the same town years ago. Maybe you worked for the same company, right? There's so many different things that you could instantly call out that could have nothing to do with business at all.
Yeah.
And I've landed so many C-suite conversations just from mentioning something on the profile. And they're like, oh, wow, you're the first person in the last 1,000 connection requests that's actually mentioned something about my profile. And it took me like
Amazing.
20
Yeah.
I
Really.
love what you said about your dog and blah, blah, blah. Like it's obviously very specific to them. And it's like, oh, wow, that person read my profile. And it does not take long to do this, right?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
one thing. Try to find something personal. The second
Yeah.
thing is it depends on who you're targeting, right? And their connections, because you could also go the mutual connection route.
Mm.
And you can do this in the free version of LinkedIn too. If you go in the search bar, you can do this in Sales Nav or in the free version of LinkedIn, either one. If you go in the search bar and start typing in keywords like your ICP and click filters, there's an option that says connections of. So I could type your name, Jess, in my ICP. I could type in Chief Marketing Officer, United States, and connections of your name. And it's going to show me all those people that you're connected to that I want to get in front of. And then all
Yeah.
I do is message you if I have a relationship with you. Obviously, only do this to people that you know. First of all, I would say, hey, Jess, how you doing? I'm looking to get in front of a few people you're connected with. Do you mind if I run these names by you? You're going to say, yes, great. Here they are. List the names with their LinkedIn URL and then say, not sure how well you know them, but if you could provide any insights, that would be amazing. Thanks. So
Yeah.
that's a really good way because then you could get you could ask for an intro or you could just name drop. Do you mind if I drop your name that you and I were talking and they came up in conversation? And you're gonna be like, yeah, there's like a 90% chance they're going to accept that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So there's little things you can do to stand out. And there's sometimes I just mention the company. So for example, just recently, I'm looking at also company page followers. So we look at who's following our company page. You guys can also do this. So people that are following the company page that you're not connected with, send them a message. Hey, Sam, noticed you're following Mod Girl Marketing. Thanks so much. Would be happy to connect with you here as well. Awesome. Sometimes they respond, sometimes they don't. Then you follow it back up. Hey, Sam, congratulations. I saw you just started as a VP of sales at ABC Company. That's awesome. Congrats. I didn't realize that ABC Company was the largest XYZ. That's so cool. And then you mention something that's personal to you about that or whatever that company is. By the
Yeah.
way, curious, blah, blah, blah. And you go into it. So you can mention specific things about the company too, if you don't sound like a robot. You know what I mean?
Yes.
There's so many different ways that you can say things, but if you don't know what to say, just send a blank connection request. If you have an optimized profile and you look like a badass, you can get away with sending a blank request as well.
Yeah. I love that.
But never pitch slap. We're trying to
Yeah.
avoid that.
Pitch slap. I love that. And I also think reading between the lines, you're probably a fan of the one-on-one personalized outreach as opposed to using some sort of AI tool. Because I assume it's probably pretty hard to personalize like this if you're using automation.
Yes. Now, with that said, AI platforms are becoming a lot more advanced where they claim that they can do this. Maybe some can, but
Yeah.
they can't to the degree that you as a human would.
It's changing every day, but right now I totally can see that.
And I think some of these tools are maybe better for automating in-mails than connection requests because you could lightweight personalize a bunch of in-mails and lump people into a certain category if they're like hiring. You know what I mean? Like you could build lists of these companies are hiring these specific roles. You could personalize it that way. With automation,
Yeah.
it is becoming more and more sophisticated, these AI tools.
Yeah. Okay. So with connection requests, how much should we be doing of that?
You can send up to 100 a week.
Oh, wow. Okay.
If you pay for LinkedIn, you can get away with a little bit more if you have a decent acceptance, right? But
Yeah.
in general, you can send 100. Now, if you're on the free version of LinkedIn, you're going to be limited. You can only send on the free version 5 to 10 per week with a connection request. You can click the connect button, but the messages you're limited. But on premium and Sales Nav, you can send 100 with messages a week.
Yeah.
So I have a tiered 90-day framework that I give people. And it's month 1, start with 5 a day. Month 2, start with 10 a day. Month 3, ramp up as much as you can. So we're starting small and this stuff takes time, right? Because you're not going to be able to personalize all of these. So this is the importance of your profile and you have to position yourself appropriately because there's no way in hell we have time to sit and personalize 20 plus a day. It's just not realistic. You are looking for those introduction paths. Absolutely spend time to personalize those. And then if you really want to stand out after people accept, send a video or send a voice note. And that way
I love that.
Start with 25 connection requests a week and then just ramping up.
It sounds really similar to how I do cold outreach via email and rules that I lean on. One of the things that I find challenging and my students within my program find challenging with cold outreach is list building or when you're pulling in support. So where my mind is going is, okay, let's say we've started doing this. We've done 5 a week, now at 20 a week, like 25. We're getting to the point where we're okay, I'm busy in my business. I've done a little bit of outreach. I've got this rhythm for it. Now I understand who to look for, how to find them, what things I would send. What does it look like when you bring in support? Or is that something that you have systems around?
Absolutely. Yes. So that's why the key of documenting what you're doing so you can just easily hand it off. And that's the beauty of what we're talking about here on LinkedIn. It is easily transferable to help an assistant, a VA, whoever, to just
Yeah.
follow this path. Once you get your rhythm down and your voice, and you test out different messages, because a lot of the people that we're targeting, they have the same pain points. They're super
Yeah.
similar. And are they hiring? Are they experiencing this challenge? We're all providing solutions on the marketing side or sales side that fits certain problems people have. And so you test the messaging. You're sending voice notes, you're sending videos, you're sending just regular messages, and you're going to see what resonates. So you need to do it yourself. So you figure out what works. Then it's documented. They're hiring marketing managers. This is what we're saying to them. When this person fits bucket B, XYZ, here's the
Yeah.
path. So that is very advisable because we don't have time to be doing this ourselves.
I love that. All right. You talked a little bit about positioning and your profile. So I'd love to know your best practices around there. What should we be looking at? What's important? Any tips that you can share with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing is your headline. And this is where a lot of people get wrong. We don't just want to say fractional CMO. That actually should not be the first thing you say at all, because that's wasted real estate. Because what does that even mean? Like, I know what that means, but like, who do you help? What's the specific niche that you help? And what is your specific skill set? That fractional CMO could mean a lot of different things. Marketing consultant can mean a lot of different things. So you want to start off talking about the exact value you provide to the exact target audience in the very beginning. Then you could put fractional CMO at the end as an example. So that's the first thing we need to tell people. This is the problem that we solve, or this is the specific thing that we do for a specific type of company or individual.
Yeah.
And that's most things that people don't do in their headline, people that don't think
Yeah.
about this, So that's the first thing. But then you need to take that in that same methodology and put it throughout your entire profile. So the very first line of your about section should be basically your elevator pitch. Instantly start off talking about, this is what I do. This is who I help. It should never be, I have 25 years of experience in marketing and these are my best.
Yeah. Like your
Like,
entire career history.
yeah, people don't care. They care.
Yeah.
Weave in your story so people know you're credible, obviously. But in the beginning, you need to talk about instantly how you help people and how you solve
Yeah.
pain points. Then you weave in your story about what got you to this point, boost your credibility, how long you've been doing it. But don't lead with that because people
Yeah.
care about how you can help them.
Yeah.
So all of this needs to be throughout your profile. And that's why I built an AI profile builder, actually, Lumi, to do this for people to make it easier. But just keep that in mind. Think of it as a mini landing page. Think about if someone lands on your landing page, aka your LinkedIn profile, what do you need to sell them? Your profile should do the selling before you even talk to people. So put links to case studies, links to testimonials, what you do, what you've accomplished. You really need to treat it as your own landing page.
Yeah. I was going to ask that question next. There's so many little sections on the profile that I'm curious to know. Is there some that don't matter, some that matter a little bit more? I know there's that featured section. There's the skills at the bottom. So what parts should we be really focused on and what parts don't really matter as much?
If you're a marketer, you need to be taking advantage of all of these things. So use the featured links, use the services, absolutely use the recommendations. Try to get at least 5 recommendations, 3 minimum, and make sure they're not super old. Your most recent one from 2018, you need to go and ask some of your past clients, recent, or even colleagues to leave you recommendations. But literally every part of your profile matters. It helps. Because again, as marketers, think of this as an SEO friendly landing page. The more you have on there, the more strategic you are with what you're putting on there. Those keywords are going to be triggered when people are typing things into the search bar and you're going to show up more. The more you have, the better. But obviously don't just throw stuff on there for the sake of it. But I would take advantage of as many sections as you can.
That's great. Thank you. Okay, let's talk a little bit about content. There's probably some listeners who have not been using LinkedIn. There might be some who are dabbling, and there might be some who've been posting for a while. But I'd love to hear from you. If you're kind of on that earlier stage or you've been dabbling, what are some best practices you've learned around content that you can share with us?
Yes. So LinkedIn has changed a ton when it comes to content. It is a lot harder now to stand out. Their algorithm keeps changing. It's way noisier. So you really have to be strategic with what you're doing if you want your content to stand out. First and foremost, go back to what I told you in the very beginning. You have to be adding the right people to your network. LinkedIn is a network-based algorithm. It is not like TikTok. TikTok's amazing because it's interest-based. You could have 2 followers on TikTok and post something that is interesting and it could blow up and get millions of views. That's
Yeah.
not going to happen on LinkedIn. If you don't have the right people in your network, your people aren't going to see it. You need to first make sure that everyone's in your network and you're speaking to those problems and then those solutions. So anything that's super actionable does really well. What's not going to get a lot of visibility and views, but will drive business for you is case studies, testimonials, results posts. People don't engage with those a lot, but they do drive revenue. Don't get discouraged with your impressions and your likes and your comments. Just keep being consistent. It's tougher now because it's more saturated and there's more AI crap that's being posted and that you're competing with. With that said, that's an opportunity because you can stand out. So real, genuine thought leadership, storytelling, your experience. If I can go to ChatGPT or Google and ask a question and get an answer, that is not what I want to post. Anyone can do that. What is your unique experience? We all have unique experiences in our careers. You need to put that in your post. Find ways to be as unique as possible because it is so noisy.
I've definitely noticed that.
Yeah. And videos also help show your personality and the person behind that.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of posting videos, even though the algorithm has been really weird with videos lately too. Video drives revenue.
That was going to be one of my questions, actually, content types, because I think most of the listeners will have a pretty solid understanding of Instagram, TikTok, but what about LinkedIn? Is there, at this moment in time, best practices around volume of text-based posts or the kind of document style carousel or video?
Document style has been working for a while now, and it's still working if you can make them valuable, right? But you're going to notice more impressions if you make those documents. It just takes more time, but find AI tools that can speed it up for you. There's lots. You can use Canva, you can use Gamma, you can even use ChatGPT to help you. Personally, I don't like making them because I'm OCD and I'll tweak it forever, even though it's the same template, So do as I say, not as I do. I post a couple a month and usually they do pretty well. Actually, I should probably post more, but carousels work really, really well. Text-based posts don't work that great unless it is uber valuable and it's from a storytelling standpoint or it has results. So you're going to notice on LinkedIn, there's a trend called lead magnet posts that are happening now. It's basically like, I generated 37 leads last week with my 8 AI agents. Want to know how I did it? Comment agent below and I'll send you the exact document. That is flood my LinkedIn right now. So the way the algorithm has shifted in 2025, Richard Vanderbaum just came out with his 2025 algorithm report. It is carousels are doing well. Videos have dropped a little bit, but videos are still doing well and they drive the most revenue. Freaking selfies still do well.
I love
only
that.
It's relevant though. Relevant selfies actually will hurt you more than helping you. And what I mean by selfie doesn't have to be like a literal selfie, but a picture of you or whatever. Try to make it not, like thirst trappy or something. So, and then polls. I still do polls. So the algorithm report says the polls have dropped. My polls do really well every time I post a poll. And the cool thing about polls on LinkedIn, you guys, you can post a poll that's super specific to what you do. You can get people voting. Then you can message them and be like, hey, Sam, thanks so much for voting on my poll. I noticed that you said that content creation was the biggest challenge for you right now on LinkedIn. I have a GPT. If you want to check it out, it might help you, right? Give them something valuable. I have used this to land clients. So I did one on LinkedIn training. If you think that employers should provide LinkedIn training for their team, people voted and I reached out. And then you can send it to your ICP. And message it. Hey, Jess, I just posted this quick poll on if marketers should pay more attention to LinkedIn for XYZ. As a marketer, I'm really curious your quick thoughts on this. Would love your one-click vote. And then I send it to those people. I've landed meetings by being proactive, not just the poll itself, but by sending the poll to my ICP and getting them to vote and then starting the conversation that way. So that's one of the best lead gen
That's a cool tactic.
When it comes to content, you just got to see what works. Again, I cannot stress enough. Content alone is not going to get you what you want. You have to be adding those people and you have to be commenting because the way the algorithm works, you have to be engaging with people before and after you post if you can. And then just consistently start engaging. And you're going to notice content ideas too. Look at what other people are doing.
Yeah.
All their ideas. Don't
really
steal the
inspiring.
post. Yeah. But look what they're doing. Go to AI and be like, hey, so this is the post I like. This is what I do. Can you help me make something similar? Right?
Yeah.
We have an AI post writer specifically for LinkedIn as well. That's amazing. and you can literally ask it to help you with these things. And there's tons of tools that find trending content, Applio,
Yeah.
Clio, and use AI. It's your friend. Be
Yeah.
patient and don't think that LinkedIn content is going to be your magic bullet.
You brought up something that I think is important to note as well. You said the algorithm or the reports are saying polls are down, but they're performing really well for you.
Mhm.
And I think there's something there that is often overlooked. And especially as marketers, I think sometimes it almost does us a disservice because we're so close to the industry and what's going on. It's easy to just be like, oh, this isn't working or that's not working,
Yep.
and really overthink things. And it's funny because I have quite a few different social media experts in my world, and one in particular who is an expert in Instagram growth and engagement. And he posted something recently about different content types and was sort of saying how carousels are not really working like they used to anymore. We ended up talking about two accounts I follow that are primarily carousel based. They almost never do reels. They've got so many followers, lots of engagement, and I know their businesses are doing really well. So I think it's just an interesting thing to remember that, coming back to your point about unique thought leadership and doing things differently and being a human and really pulling from your own experience, not just the boring, typical how-to stuff you can get in AI or on Google. I think that is probably number one. And then the content type, it's finding what works for you. If you are really brilliant at putting together carousels that tell a story and keep someone really engaged, maybe that's your content type. They might not do well for everybody, but maybe that's because 95% of the people don't do a great job.
Exactly. And if
Yeah.
you are posting TikTok videos, YouTube shorts, and reels that are actionable, please post those on LinkedIn. It's the same
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
I do it. I'll record something even in TikTok. Like I recorded a video in TikTok. I've started playing around with TikTok more. And they do well on both. As long as it's actionable and you're helping
Yeah.
people, literally post the same thing across every platform with the shorts. It's the same thing. You're under 60 seconds or under 90 seconds, you're providing value. You can leverage all the stuff that you're doing on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, if it's the valuable stuff. And the younger generation does the day in the life and stuff. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I think I'm too old. But anything that's helpful tips or even a story, even
Yeah.
something inspirational that's not even related to your business. LinkedIn loves the inspirational, feel good, cheesy stuff. LinkedIn eats it up. I post travel stuff all the time on LinkedIn, and that gets more views than anything else. And I have people that remember me that I talk to because of my nomad life, and now
Yeah.
I travel. So I want to remind people too that it's not just like a businessy platform. Show the human being behind you, and it's okay to post stuff that's not all about business.
Yeah, I totally agree. People buy from people, not necessarily a business. So it is nice to have that human side and really differentiates you and can show your values.
Exactly. Your story is what matters. And you got to find ways to stand out so people can remember you, or you're just going to look like every other marketing consultant.
Yeah. Okay. Let's switch gears. Let's talk about lead gen, the big, exciting piece that you really focus on. Is there one way to do it? Do you have one system or engine that you use, or is there just a variety of tactics that you use to turn LinkedIn into a lead gen machine for yourself?
There's a lot of moving parts to this. So I'm actually going to start doing ads as well, LinkedIn ads, to really ramp it up. But pretty much everything I've told you up until this point is part of my lead gen. And because I have a big network, I can leverage my existing network and look for introductions, right? So always try to think of the low hanging fruit first. If you're kind of new to this LinkedIn thing, add everyone you know first and foremost. Get them in your network, because the more people you're connected to, the more opportunities you're going to. And then you need a strategy of, okay, these are the types of people I'm going to target on LinkedIn. Going to be different than who you're targeting on Instagram. So get really super clear on who you're going after, because you got to niche down and you got to talk to them. You got to talk to their problems and their pain points. You can go a little bit broad with your content, but when it comes to lead gen activities, the more narrow you go, the better, because you're going to learn what those people respond to, how to talk to them, etc. And then you build lists. You know who you're going after. You start creeping on them, being a stalker with their content. You comment on their stuff. You like their stuff. You wait a little bit, even if it's just a day or two, and then you send a message, or you don't even send anything. You just send a connection request because they've already seen you engage.
Yeah.
If they like your comment that same day, you can go ahead and send a connection request because that means they saw it. So you're trying to get on their radar first. This is part of my friendly leader method is what I call it. So we're trying to make friends on LinkedIn, and you're trying to come across as a friendly leader. So you're engaging, you send a connection request, you start the dialogue, mention again something personal that you liked about them. If there's nothing, then just start in with it. And then thanks, so great to connect here. If I can help you with anything on the XYZ front, let me know. Or you can say, great to connect here, Jess. Hey, I noticed that XYZ. Insert that trigger point, whatever you noticed. ABC company is hiring. I noticed that you mentioned this in your post, whatever it is that could lead to your solutions. So answer a question. How are you handling ABC right now? So for me, how is your team doing on the LinkedIn front right now? Or is your team driving consistent meetings on LinkedIn right now? There's a million questions I can ask. Let them answer. If they don't answer, send a voice note, send a video. Follow up again if they don't answer. Hey, what'd you think of my voice note I sent a couple days ago? It's so much easier to follow up when it's a voice note or video.
As opposed to just, hi, nudging.
Yes,
ping.
exactly. Just following up. So you have to get more creative when you don't use video and voice notes by sending them something. Hey, came across this article, thought of you. You have to keep messaging people like multiple times. So a lot of my conversations that I'm getting, I'm messaging them 3 or 4 times. Sometimes they don't even respond to the last one. They're like, oh, sorry, missed your messages, or yeah, thanks for the nudge. Let me go listen to your voice note now, right? So you can't give up. You have to be consistent.
Yeah.
And I'm just using a tool called Condo now to help with inbox management because my inbox is out of control. It's Kondo. It's awesome. Try condo.com. And it helps you organize your inbox. So it's not automation or anything. It's a desktop app, or you just log in as a web-based app, but you can put reminders, follow up with Jess on Thursday, right? At 8 a.m. You can tag everything, lead, prospects, in talks, friends, partner, whatever you want. Tons of cool things you can do with it if you have a lot going on. Once you start doing this more and more and it becomes out of control, then you're going to need some help because LinkedIn inbox is not very efficient.
No, it's not the nicest.
It's terrible. And it's easy to drop the ball on this stuff because it just gets lost. And then if you try to scroll, it like freezes. It's really not great. Obviously, if you're just baby steps right now, you don't need to worry about this. But when you start doing it more and more, look into, I have no affiliation with them. They're just awesome. Look into Condo, try condo.com because it does help quite a bit. And there's a couple other ones, but this one's the best and affordable. And if you're not doing this, then you got to keep track somewhere. Either you have a spreadsheet. If you have sales nav, you can put notes in the sales nav records. It is very easy for this to get dropped because you got follow-ups to happen. So figure out a system that works for you where you have triggers that you need to follow up with these people on these certain dates. People are busy. It doesn't mean they're ghosting you. They're not interested. They might have missed it. They got a lot going on. You have to keep up with these people. Don't stop until someone says no.
Yeah, that's my ethos as well.
Yes. The way the algorithm works on LinkedIn, when you're messaging people, they will see your content.
Good to know. Even if they're not replying back or opening?
Yes. Hopefully they're opening. That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe if they don't open, they might not see your content. Because if you're talking with someone in the DMs,
showing that you're engaged,
log into the feed, they're going to see your stuff. And if you're adding new people to your network, the first 2 weeks, those people are going to see your post.
Oh, that's great.
So this is the beauty of being active, posting and messaging people, because those people are going to see your stuff more.
Okay. Couple questions for clarification. So are we messaging people like this that we are connected with, or is it during the whole connection request process?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah. So you probably have gold in your network now that you don't even realize, and you need to go mine that gold, meaning you need to go look when you're doing the filters, select first degree. If you're on the free version or sales nav, doesn't matter, but you can go and look at the filters in the search bar, type in who you're looking for, click people, and then click first degree. And you're going to find all the people you already first degree connections with. Go through that list and reach out to them again. Click on their profile first, see if they're posting. If they are, engage with it, then send them a message. You just got to find something to get in there with. You know, you can't just be like, hey, first name, can I help you with your ABC?
Yeah.
But I'm trying to find something. Say something you notice about the company. Anything at all. And then ask a question. It literally, everything I'm saying goes for both new people and existing.
Sounds like your goal with all of these outreach, all these messages, is just simply to start a conversation. You're not pitching anything.
Absolutely.
And I'm assuming there's a certain turning point where you start to talk about, this is what I do, or hey, I noticed this and this is how I could help you, or could we hop on a call, depending on sort of how your business operates. But I'm curious to know, when do you make that transition in the messaging flow, and how do you do that in a way that feels good to the conversation?
Yeah, always offer to help. So ask a question, get them to respond, and then be like, yeah, I hear this a lot, actually. My reps aren't using Sales Navigator as much as they could be. We're just using it for list building. Respond back. Happy to provide some insights here and give you a little bit more specifics about what you can do and what you can tell your team to do. Do you mind if I send you over my 90-day LinkedIn framework and then we can hop on a quick call? It would just be easier. I will send it a voice note and then I'll just be like, we can hop on a quick call. It would be so much faster. That way I can tailor my responses to you and then you can share it with your team. And then if it works, we can explore what it would look like to work together. But if not, no worries. You can take what I tell you and you can put it to work with your team. So it's like a very conversational, I'm going to ask the question. I'm going to get a response. If I don't get a response, I'm going to keep making sure to follow up in creative ways so I get a response. And then I validate their problem, offer to help. It's very casual. You're not like, let's hop on a 15-minute call and I can pitch you. Like it really
Yeah.
is. You're just trying to be a friend. You're trying to provide value. They know what you're doing though. People aren't dumb. But when you approach it this way, people are fine with it because you literally are helping them. I give insights to everyone.
Yeah. Okay. Worst case, I'm going to get some tips and be pitched and have to say no. And
Exactly.
best case scenario, I get some tips and then this person can help me solve my problem in a bigger way. So great.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
for you, even if it's not the right time, they're going to think of you when the time is right.
Yeah.
Spend 20
Yeah.
to 30 minutes. Even if they say no right now, guess what? They're going to call you first or message you
Yeah.
first when the time is right. But, we're all limited time. Only do this for people that obviously could be a good fit. You're not going to be doing this
Yeah.
all day long to random. But
Yeah.
this is the way to approach it. You got to be as casual as you can because these people are getting inundated with spam right now. And you have to do whatever you can to stand out. And that's why I like voice notes because I am super casual in them, and people can hear my voice and my tone. And I like videos too. I send more voice notes because it's just faster, right? If I'm out and about on a sweaty walk and I look like a hot mess, I'm not going to send a video message. So I send a lot more voice notes, but videos work really well too. But people can hear and see your personality. You can be more direct when you send videos and voice notes. You can be way more direct about what you're doing because it comes across way better than if you were to text them.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I'm a huge voice noter and I do feel like it's just such a nice way to get your personality across and like really connect with someone and for them to hear you're actually being authentic in wanting to help them.
Yes, absolutely.
Anything else we need to know about lead gen? I know we have talked forever. I could probably talk your ear off all day. I want to just make sure we've got everything from you that we need to know about lead gen.
So I'm going to say one more thing on the commenting. LinkedIn now shows you impressions for your comment. And
okay.
Yeah, so you can see how many impressions your comments are getting. And it's crazy how many people are saying that their impressions are generating more profile views and impressions than their content, than their posts. They're generating more visibility than their posts.
Wow.
I just wanted to throw that out there because if you are commenting on posts with thoughtful comments, showing your expertise, responding to something that's similar that you noticed, etc., you can get quite a bit of visibility on that. That is going to drive people to your page and then possible conversation. If you have a certain niche that you're going after, go and do it on those niche thought leader posts. People are going to see your comment. They're going to see your headline. They're going to be curious. They're going to click on it.
Yeah.
So when I'm saying commenting, I'm not saying go leave a bunch of comment on other marketers' stuff, unless the marketers are who you're targeting, in your specific niche. But think outside the box a little bit. Also go look at your competitors. Look who's commenting on their posts and steal them.
Yeah.
Look at who's engaging with their posts and start connecting with them too. Look at who is commenting and start building relationships with those people because they're active and they're obviously part of your target audience.
Yeah. I think comments can be so underlooked, but that's such a good tip. Thank you so much. Mandy, if someone wants to go deeper with you or learn more about what you do, where can they find you?
For sure. I have a free course that gives you my audio and video message templates that you can steal, a profile checklist, my 90-day framework that I just mentioned. All of that is free, plus a couple of training videos from my paid course. If you go to golumi.io/free, you can just go to my LinkedIn profile, Mandy McEwen. You'll see a link there too. But it's a free course. Doesn't take long at all. And you can swipe lots of valuable resources that most people charge you for if you like them and work together. Very easy to contact.
I love it. Thank you so, so much. That was amazing. I learned a ton from you. So really, really appreciate your time. You are a brilliant expert in this area. So loved having you. If you want to connect with Mandy or learn more, you can find her on LinkedIn. So if you're building a fractional CMO business and you don't want to waste years figuring it out the hard way, Fractional CMO School is open for enrollment and we'll give you the step-by-step roadmap that I used to build my business to 6 figures in 6 months and then $1 million per year with a small team of 2. There's expert coaching, one-on-one support, and whether you are an aspiring fractional CMO or you're growing, you're trying to figure out how to scale your team or do the role in a way that doesn't lead to burnout, it is a great fit for you. And you can learn more at thecmooffice.com. If you love this episode today, here is what I would love from you. Take 30 seconds to rate and review the show. It helps more marketers and CMOs find this content. Hit follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you're going to implement any of this or you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out in my DMs on Instagram. I would love to support you. And thank you for listening. I will see you next week.